So the biggest question I get is why Liberia? Of all the places on earth, why Liberia? Um, it's sort of a convoluted process or path, and it wasn't planned. None of it was planned. None of it was planned. Um, I come from the United States, and my maternal father, my mother's father, my grandfather, was a physician from South America, from Buenos Aires, Argentina, and got recruited at a young age to Harvard. So medicine was always sort of in the background. And as the first grandchild, at a young age, I was traveling with my grandparents, mainly to South America. So that was sort of my first exposure and awareness that there was a lot more than what I saw in the United States. And my grandfather taught me a lot about what it was to be a doctor, and that it was more than just taking care of people. It was connecting with community and understanding your patients wherever they came from and whatever their problems were.
It's been what, 15, 16 years now? C3 Liberia, Robert Matana, Teresa Matana, and the other board member in the States. A great mission to Liberia when he came here some time ago, like 16 years at GFK, when we met working on a patient as a respiratory therapist, low respiratory therapist in the hospital. And then our friendship grew from there, and he started telling me his plans. Okay. And then I left for the States, and we continued the plan. We met. He used to come and visit me where I was at school, take me out, carry me around Dallas, and we continued to discuss the plan in opening of NGO in Liberia that will handle medical association.
After 2 years of sort of traditional work as an emergency medicine doctor in the greater Seattle area, I sort of packed up my bags and moved to India. And in India, I was there for over a year, mainly India, a little Nepal, working for different organizations, doing rural medicine, and went to a big disaster in Bihar, where I saw poverty combined with natural disaster on a huge scale. But when I decided to come to Liberia for the first time, I picked a program that was in Monrovia, in the capital, at the tertiary hospital. Although I knew ultimately I wanted to work outside the capital, I felt that was the best way to get an introduction to the health system and the people of Liberia. And at that time, this was after more than many years, from 1989 to 2002, was two civil wars with only 2 years of possible peace. And I arrived in 2010, about 16 years ago from today. And at that time in Liberia, they were still recovering from the war. All pillars of society were destroyed. Everybody has a dream, right? What you want to be: a doctor, a fisherman, a driver, policeman, the president of Liberia. And from there, we realized that education was still a big issue in the health sector and outside. For I was seeing that the nurses' math skills at the hospital were not very good, and we were getting errors, and even children dying from simple math equations needed for dosing of medicines were incorrect. So then that made me rethink what our mission statement was, because at first we were just health care. And it was at that time that we decided to broaden the umbrella of the mission of cross-culture care for not only health capacity in Robertsport, Grand Cape Mount County, but in education. Dum 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 dum. Yeah. You choose that. How you doing? Good? Yeah?
Robertsport was a dead city. Nothing was growing, nothing was moving. And he brought life to Robertsport just because he loved this place and loved the people. And today, this is the only growing NGO in Robertsport that is taking care of thousands of people, from health to education to livelihood, because the people that he employs, they depend on whatever he do in America that to get money to survive, more than 15%. So the day he close up this place, that means they don't have jobs. The day CTD close, that means education for the youth will go down the drain because those kids will not know how to use computer anymore.
And then we used technology called a smart box, an off-the-grid computer system using Bluetooth, where we could teach children without needing internet, without needing electricity. We could charge them at night with solar panels or generators. And that became sort of the cornerstone of our education system. And then recently, in the last few years, we've expanded to bringing that computer system, those smart boxes, into the schools. So children that weren't coming to our after-school program because they had to help the family after school with chores such as water collection, food collection, etc., or the farming, could learn in the school. And my wife Teresa really helped bring more education programs and projects to cross-cultural care into Robertsport here. And that included an after-school program where children of all different schools could come first grade to 12th grade and learn after school from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m.
Fish. Shower. Flash. Shoes.
We have classes for WAS. We have 3rd graders, we have 6th graders, we have 9th graders, and we have 12th graders. And so the program also, afternoon classes also help for us to review the students, keep them on path with subjects like mathematics, science, English, social study, and what have you. Instructors are already here, and so they have to take advantage, have been coming in so that to keep them engaged. Because after school, once they come, we spend 5 hours at school, but that's not enough for those that will sit at standard exam, at the WAS exam, so they have to come for extra tutoring classes at C3 to help increase the number of those that will pass. Because if we have a lot of students passing the WAS and the YI, it's a positive time for the community, for the various schools, and also for the instructors also.
February 2026, we're opening a dental clinic and an ophthalmology and eye clinic here in Robertsport. So our hope is to bring services here that are not in this part of the country. We learned that people will come far for services that they cannot find in the country or that are outside Monrovia. When we had a volunteer by the name of Dr. James Appel who came with his family and his wife who's a nurse and there's children, and they lived here for over 3 years here in Robertsport, and he was doing orthopedic work at St. Timothy's Hospital. And people were coming all over Liberia and from the neighboring countries of Guinea and Sierra Leone to see Dr. Appel and fix old wounds from the war and new wounds from life in the bush here. And we're very, very grateful for Dr. Appel and Sarah Appel. And it was that time that we learned that people, by just word of mouth, will come if there is quality services. So that's why we're opening these 2 clinics.
Cultural care was able to sponsor me in Coddington University, where I got my BSc in physician assistant. So while waiting to be picked up by the government or even to be assigned by cross-cultural care, through the help of God, I got another opportunity from cross-cultural care again to go for a 2 years training in dental therapy. So by the help of God, I was able to complete the training and I got my degree as dental therapist. Now I'm in Robertsport, where I'm serving as one of the dental therapists in the clinic.
I'm so grateful to God because C3 have played so many roles in my life. I graduated from the ASN program, I graduated from the BSN program, and now I am a proud ophthalmic nurse. I want to be grateful to God, all on God, because had it not been for C3, I wouldn't have been here.
And now we are moving on to Massatin, where we have fortunate children who have leprosy. People that need more help than anything else, than anybody else.
Welcome to Massatin. Massatin, it means Master's Island. The original leper village was on the Lake Piso on the way to Robertsport. Yeah? And then in 1948, they said we need to make farm because on the small island, the patients couldn't make any farm to help themselves. So they moved up here in 1948. We started visiting here in 1977. Dr. Margaret Chambers, God rest her, was a medical missions of Mary sister from, I think, Ireland. And she spent most of the years in Nigeria. And then in the twilight of her life, she came to Liberia, and the Ministry of Health asked her to do what she could to help people with Hansen's disease. So she came to me sometime in the 70s and said, Father Gary, you have a village in your parish, which is 3 counties at that time, where people with hands and disease are, leprosy. So found my way here, and we've been working here ever since.
The Lord said to Abraham, leave your country, your family, and be free.
We'll be looking for about $130 US.
So we started supplying medicines, and now we're also helping with public health work, such as latrines and a septic tank. And that's been sort of wonderful to see.
We leave Masatin with our hearts full of dreams, desires, and doubts. It is difficult to feel satisfied when completed projects in the face of so much need, whether material, spiritual, or intellectual. These visits help us to recalibrate, redirect, and embrace our children and elders from a village that, due to the Hassan disease, known as leprosy, remain isolated in the village until full recovery. We are heading to Monrovia to visit and see the progress of one of our children from Robertsport, Nyee, who has decided to move to the capital with his uncle to learn the craft of sewing and be able to practice his great passion, soccer, as a coach. We met Nyee 4 years ago in Robertsport. Due to polio, he's incapacitated from birth. His family thought he had been affected by witchcraft and never took him to school. When Father Gary found him, he was already 14 years old and crawled on the ground, walking with his arms. We tried to help him. We bought him a wheelchair, clothes, spoke with his parents, arranged with a local seamstress for his education. We even bought him a manual sewing machine without a pedal. There have been many ups and downs, and he has not yet completed his 9-month training. We want to understand what happened. We arrived at West Point in Monrovia, where Nyee has settled with his uncle. He wants to show us the seamstress he wants to be his teacher and his new life in the capital. West Point is the largest, poorest, and most marginalized shantytown in Monrovia. Nyee receives us in the middle of the street market and leads us through. After passing through tunnels of small streets in the slum, we finally arrive. Among the aluminum barrels where fishes smoke, we see a woman with a pedal sewing machine, and next to her, Nyee. She explains to us that she's a war-disabled woman. She was shot as a teenager in the spinal cord, which left her almost paralyzed. She tells us how a seamstress patiently taught her the trade and how, upon meeting Nyee, she decided to help him as a way of repaying the kindness she once received. And we can help them create a cooperative. He knows he can count on us as long as he keeps responding. Today I have once again understood something that Liberia has taught me, that kindness and generosity are never associated with social class. There are moral conditions that have no relation to social class.
It doesn't have to be mass change on a global scale or country scale or even a town scale. It's the individual connections and help that you can make. And I believe affecting a few people's lives will have a generational effect, a ripple effect for many years to come. And I hope that really is the legacy of our organization and my efforts here. You know, it's been very difficult, and there are many times where I've wanted to quit and give up, but I've always come back and I've wondered why. And I think it's really the people. And regardless of the programs and projects that change throughout the years, and regardless of our partnerships and going down in our bank account, we always come back because it's for the people.